Hello, I'm Logic Bunny, and come with me down the rabbit hole of knowledge.
Ever wondered why the world feels different? Are you feeling the heat? Maybe you've seen it. Glaciers melting, temperatures rising, the news buzzing with climate change. But what's really going on? What asterisk is asterisk global warming, anyway? And why should asterisk you asterisk care? Let's dive into the logic of it. Sometimes, when we hear about climate change, it feels complicated. Maybe you've heard it's a hoax or that it's just about warmer weather. But what if I told you it's actually a pretty straightforward idea? Imagine the Earth wrapped in a giant, invisible blanket. This blanket is made up of gases like carbon dioxide and methane. These gases are like the glass roof of a greenhouse. They trap heat from the sun, keeping our planet warm enough for us to live on. This is called the asterisk greenhouse effect asterisk. Now, here's where things get interesting. What if we tried to understand how the greenhouse effect works? The answer might surprise you, because as we add more of these gases to the atmosphere, that blanket gets thicker, more heat gets trapped, and the planet warms up. It's like putting on an extra layer when you're already wearing a coat. So, global warming isn't just about warmer weather. It's about how we're changing the Earth's natural systems. It's about the greenhouse effect and how we're making it stronger. But don't worry, we're going to break it all down. We'll explore the science, the causes, the effects, and what we can do about it. Stay curious. Let's dive into the logic of the greenhouse effect. Imagine the sun's rays heading towards Earth. Some of that energy bounces right back into space, but some of it gets absorbed by our planet. Now, think of certain gases in our atmosphere, like carbon dioxide. These gases act like a one-way mirror. They let the sun's energy in, but they trap some of the heat, preventing it from escaping back into space. This is the greenhouse effect, and it's essential for life on Earth. Without it, our planet would be freezing. But here's the twist. These greenhouse gases come from many sources. When we burn fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas, we release a lot of carbon dioxide. Deforestation, cutting down trees, also plays a role, as trees absorb carbon dioxide. Agriculture, especially things like raising livestock, releases methane and nitrous oxide. What if we tried to quantify the impact? Since the Industrial Revolution, when we started burning a lot more fossil fuels, the amount of these gases in our atmosphere has increased dramatically. We can see this clearly with graphs and charts. But how can we understand it better? Let's try a simple experiment. What if we tried to recreate the greenhouse effect? We can take a few jars, some thermometers, and a little bit of baking soda and vinegar to create CO2. If we put CO2 in a jar and place it under the sun, the temperature will rise faster than in a jar with normal air. So, what does this mean for us? The greenhouse effect is connected to real-world changes. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and changes in our ecosystems. Stay curious. Ever wondered why some things seem to have a bigger impact than others? Let's dive into the logic of your carbon footprint. Your carbon footprint is a way of measuring the impact your daily activities have on the environment. From the way you get to school to the food you eat, everything has a carbon footprint. What if we tried to understand where greenhouse gas emissions come from? Let's break it down. Electricity generation, powering our homes and schools, is a big one. Transportation, all those cars, buses, and planes also contribute a lot. Industry, the factories that make the things we use, add to it. Agriculture, especially raising livestock, releases greenhouse gases. And unfortunately, deforestation, cutting down trees, also plays a part. Fossil fuels are a major source. When we burn coal, oil, and natural gas to make electricity, power our cars, and run factories, we release a lot of carbon dioxide. Deforestation is another piece of the puzzle. Trees absorb carbon dioxide from the air. When we cut down trees, we reduce the planet's ability to soak up this greenhouse gas. But what can we do? What if we tried to make a change? There are simple things we can do every day to reduce our carbon footprint. Using public transport or biking instead of driving, eating less meat as raising livestock has a big impact. Conserving energy at home by turning off lights and unplugging electronics. Supporting sustainable practices. The answer might surprise you. Stay curious. Ever wondered how one thing can change so much? Let's dive into the logic of the ripple effect. Global warming isn't just about warmer weather. The average temperature of the Earth is rising, and that has a huge impact. What if we tried to understand the consequences? One of the most visible effects is melting ice. Glaciers and ice sheets are shrinking, and that's causing sea levels to rise. Coastal communities are facing more frequent flooding and erosion. We're also seeing more extreme weather events. Heat waves are becoming more intense and frequent. Droughts are lasting longer. Floods and hurricanes are becoming more powerful. But what if we tried to debunking a common misconception? Let's try a simple experiment. What if we tried to demonstrate the effects of melting ice? If you put ice cubes in a glass of water, the water level won't rise much when the ice melts. The answer might surprise you. Ecosystems are also feeling the effects. Rising temperatures and changing weather patterns are affecting plants, animals, and entire habitats. Some species are being forced to move, while others are struggling to survive. Stay curious. Ever wondered if you can make a difference? Let's dive into the logic of climate solutions. The good news is we can do something about global warming. It's not too late to make a difference. What if we tried to understand some solutions? One of the most important solutions is renewable energy. Solar, wind, and other clean energy sources can replace fossil fuels, reducing our reliance on them and cutting down on greenhouse gas emissions. We can also focus on energy efficiency. Reducing how much energy we use in our homes, schools, and communities is key. Turn off lights when you leave a room, use energy-efficient appliances, and make sure your home is well insulated. What if we tried to make sustainable choices? Making eco-friendly choices in our daily lives can have a big impact. Reduce waste by recycling and reusing. Eat sustainably. Support eco-conscious businesses. But can we do more? We can also get involved in activism and advocacy. Raise awareness about climate change, support climate action, and advocate for change at the local and global levels. The answer might surprise you. Stay curious. Ever wondered why understanding matters? Let's dive into the logic of it. We've talked about the science, the causes, and the effects of global warming. But why does it all matter? What if we tried to connect the dots? Understanding global warming helps us see the connection between our actions and the health of our planet. It helps us understand the personal and global impacts and why we need to act. Let's debunk common myths. If you still have questions or doubts, seek out reliable sources of information. There's a lot of misinformation out there, so it's important to be critical. What if we tried to inspire critical thinking? Question the information you see and hear. Seek out reliable sources. Think critically about climate change. But can we do it alone? Individual efforts, when combined, can create significant change. The answer might surprise you. So, share this video, keep learning, take action to protect our planet. Stay curious. Ever wondered what the future holds? Let's dive into the logic of a better future. We've journeyed through the science of global warming. We've explored the greenhouse effect, the sources of greenhouse gases, and the impacts on our world. We've also talked about solutions and what we can do to make a difference. So, what have we learned? Understanding global warming is the first step. Knowledge is power. The more we know, the better equipped we are to take action. The answer might surprise you, but never forget that we have the power to make a difference. It's not too late to address climate change. We can choose to create a better future. What if we tried to keep learning? Stay informed. Explore more resources. Keep asking questions. What if we tried to make sustainable choices? Embrace sustainable practices in your daily life. Reduce your carbon footprint. Support businesses and organizations working towards a greener planet. What if we tried to be part of the solution? Join the movement for a better future. Share this video, talk to your friends and family. The Earth is in our hands. Stay curious.